Give me 1 second. All right. I have an interview. Well, not my interview. This is from ABC News, from an eyewitness testimony. No drunk drivers. Let's get into it and I'll explain it afterwards. Make sure everything's set up. All right, we good. Y'all see the title.
10 people are dead, dozens injured, including 2 officers, and no doubt dozens more witnessed the attack. One of those people is Jimmy Cawthorn. He's joining us right now to tell us a little bit more about what he saw there on Bourbon Street. Jimmy, I know this is really difficult to talk about, so we thank you for sharing your story with us. Can you tell me how this all started and what you saw?
Just a regular night. A friend of mine had never experienced New Year's on Bourbon, so I decided to take him. I was the designated driver, so I was sober, remember everything. Everything was fairly normal for a New Year.
All right, let me stop it right there. I'm going to let it continue on to play. Notice he said he was the designated driver. Shout out to Jimmy and his crew. This is what things like that, prevention. Oh, yeah, we're going to get into prevention. This is a prevention measurement, right? People who want to get shit faced for the New Year's and enjoy the drinks or whatever they do, they may indulge in drinks. So they set up a preventative measure. This is a regular guy. Now, why can't the laws and the current system set up prevention measurements? All right, let's go on.
In New Orleans, we were heading back towards Canal when it looked like just a large commotion or something was going on up there. We weren't really wanting to fight through that. We just figured it was just some nonsense. So we ducked off into a nightclub, and within 2 minutes of being in there, 4 or 5 frantic females run in, duck under tables, get out from under the tables, run some more. So figuring New Orleans for New Orleans, we thought it was a shooting or something going on that was going to follow into this club. We ran upstairs to the balcony, knowing there was a balcony up there and it would be our better spot. And once we got out there, what we seen wasn't anything I wish anyone else to see. Just a melee of movie prop looking bodies mangled for both directions. The beginning, we were closest to Iberville, so pretty much right where it started. That it's what I would think is it's worse because those people had no heads up, and the footage you're showing there, that is some of the footage that we did not want to share on Facebook, but that is a mother. She had a wedding ring on her finger. Just the body's positioning, the terrible. And the gentleman down there, he had tire marks on his stomach. When they rolled him over to check on him, he also had tire marks on his back. He was completely crushed. I mean, there was an easy 6 instantly visibly deceased just based on body position and blood and more graphic details. And they wouldn't let us. I mean, it was minutes, several minutes after witnessing this, they wouldn't let us outside. And I'm trained in CPR, personal response, and all of that due to the nature of my job, and they wouldn't let anyone go help. And I understand. And also at that time, you had the green military-style officers on foot, probably 10 of them running down Bourbon towards the direction the truck went with M16s. They basically kept us where we were for about an hour and a half or so while they secured the scene.
running down the man on foot. Does that sound like a preventative measurement? It already happened. Now you want to run down on foot. But go ahead.
And yeah, we were just left in there with our thoughts and visions.
Jimmy, you say that after you went up, you saw police following this truck on foot with their guns out. Can you talk to me about what you saw from that point?
Following the man on foot. That's something that a regular citizen would do, right? You know, somebody mess up your house, throw an egg at your house. Hey, man, what you doing? And you go chase them. But we supposedly have a system that you would think is there to protect its citizens. What is being done to prevent such things from happening? Go ahead. You telling me this is the best we can do? I don't know, because this is what my interpretation of this, because we see and hear about instances such as these. They go on every year. As soon as the new year start, we already got a bozo acting the ass. Go ahead.
Those green officers there, several like them, I can't say if it's those exact ones, but at least 10 of those were coming from Canal on foot, M16s, ready position, down Bourbon. But the truck was completely out of sight.
And you said you would.
On foot. Could it be the current system is designed to react? React. When you break that down, that's if you react, that means you have already sustained the effects of an offensive attack. You're reacting. So they cannot engage unless something takes place. Is that the best we can do? You telling me with all this technology, all this money that is tax dollars, etc. You're saying everywhere else, the best we can do is simply react. But let's continue.
Initially thought it might be a drunk driver. What's your reaction now to hearing law enforcement say?
And that's what, that caught my attention. They said drunk driver. I was looking at the news and, I saw the feed, and man, when they said that, and I'm not saying this was a drunk driver or whatever, but as soon as I hear that, my antennas go up. Now, why would they say a drunk driver? Well, everybody knows bozo activities. But once again, what is being done to prevent? We all know these things happen. Nothing is being done to prevent. So you may say, well, how can you prevent somebody from doing that? There's too many people. They going to pull over everybody? I got an answer for all of that stuff, but I'm setting it up. Let's go ahead.
This not only was an intentional act, but they're investigating it as an act of terror.
No, notice she said intentional. When people, you have to pay attention to key words when people use these words, because all of that can be used in a court of law. And that's how the court of law defines certain actions and activities. Intentional. Right? She said that intentionally. Because if you go the route of a drunk driver, hey, it wasn't intentional. I was just drunk. So the intention is what set the precedent on the amount of years the assailant or criminal can be charged with and convicted with. The intention. But my whole thing is there are instances where it does not matter the intention. It's the effect. Go back and look in that video. I may do a actual video instead of a live. When I made my victim impact speech in the court, and I use the example of a man wielding a sword at a public park, crowded people. His intent was just to practice sword wielding. But you know damn well, if you go into a crowd and you start wielding a sword, let's say it's jam packed, you pull out a sword and you start swinging that thing. Well, his intent was just to wield the sword. If they can prove that his intent was just to practice, the law is not going to charge him with the most severe crime or punishment. But anyway, let's go on. Oh man, I got to reset it. Hold up. Don't y'all hate when the phones when they lock up?
Indicating it as an act of terror.
Act of terror. Uh-oh.
Well, watching my local news and hearing that they've already detonated a couple of IEDs, I feel a lot more lucky than I did 6 hours ago, because this guy at any point could have threw those out the window. He could have shot us at us. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to contemplate all the what ifs when all you see are these bodies. And you can't imagine someone would want to do this on purpose. I mean, all these people were somebody's special people. And this morning, they're not going to be there.
Something that never should have happened.
All right. So yeah, you can check that out on. I got that from ABC News. I believe the eyewitness was Jeff Cothran. I don't want to butcher his name up. I believe that was it though. So yeah, there was a lot of a lot of keywords and phrases that immediately perked my attention. Let me check something right quick before I move forward. All right, we good. Yeah, there was a lot of things that immediately caught my attention. So let's get into it because I took some notes. I think I kind of expounded on. Well, I put why would he immediately think that it was a drunk driver? Well, we know that drunk driving produces erratic behavior, right? So everybody, the common man or woman, is able to identify a lot of times if somebody is inebriated or under the influence, right? We see these things. Hence, that was the first thing that came to his mind. First thing, but there's nothing done to prevent. Next, condolences to the family of anybody who may have lost someone. You remember on my last live, I just put on there the same things that can make you laugh will make you cry. Now, this is a New Year's Eve celebration. All of the victims, right? Well, not the people affected by it, right? Because the victims, there was 10 of them that were deceased, unfortunately. Over 35 injured. And then the eyewitnesses. Every time they New Year's Eve roll around, this is the scene or memory that's now going to overshadow something that is supposed to be a celebratory occasion. 10 people lost their lives. So all of their family members, every time New Year's Eve roll around, they're going to remembering their lost loved ones. The people who are injured, every time New Year's Eve roll around, they're going to think about this tragic event. Drunk driving is no different. Bozos do bozo activity, and the innocent are the one left holding all of the pain, the effects, everything. In this instance, the bozo was killed. So I don't know if that's justice or not. At least he's dead. At least. But that still does not bring the loved ones back. It does not reverse the unfortunate events that took place. Another note I wrote. Current system. So it's two ways that I was going to go about this video. Two ways. And I'm going to look in the comments. If I don't see anything, I'm just going to pick one. I'm just going to pick one. But shall I address the elephant in the room or speak about the current system? I don't see any comments. So I'll start off with, and y'all know me, this is where I get into trouble. My mouth, MOUF, mouth. We got that elephant in the room. And then we have the current system. Let me talk about the current system because that's what's in the title. And this is all off the dome, mind you. I'm not a public figure. I am not a politician. But let me give you all a brief lesson on this current system. I was stopping the video at certain points to highlight things that reflect upon the current system. So let's set the table. We have New Year's Eve in New Orleans, Bourbon Street. This place is known to turn up. I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that. It is a common place that people frequent to celebrate, to have fun. It's a destination, tourist destination. People from all over the country, they will travel to Bourbon Street to turn up. Nothing wrong with that at all. For New Year's or just any other event. You have that, and then you also have New York. So when I think New Year's, I'm thinking about those two. Mind you, I'm the common man or woman. You're telling me the current laws that we have in place, the current system that we have in place, we still do not have anything to prevent such tragedy from occurring? The answer is no. Because as I highlighted during the video, they repeatedly were discussing how the tactical unit was basically chasing the man on foot. He's in a vehicle. They're chasing him on foot. We have all this technology. We got video surveillance everywhere. All the money we can get, we got all the money. We send billions overseas to try to tackle their issues and things like that. And the best we can do is have some tactical team on foot. This is after everything has taken place. So the current system is doing what the current system has been designed to do, which is react. You will rarely see instances. I don't want to say rarely, but it's not the norm. That's not the common norm, and I'm going to explain why. They do not have anything in place to prevent. They may have it in certain circumstances when it comes to certain people of high notoriety or things like that, because they pay private security. But just in general, for the general public, they do not have anything to prevent such things. And here's why. America is founded upon capitalism, money. So in simpler terms, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. You've heard that phrase a lot. Yes, America lives by this, and they die by this too. Yeah, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. All the tax money that they take from the citizens, the government controls that, right? They just take it. You have no choice. You work, you put in your 80 hours every 2 weeks, you get paid, and you look on there and they extract your hard-earned money, and they do whatever they do with it. They tell you what they do with it, but you don't see any receipts. There are no books. All this technology, there's no books. You don't know where that money's actually going. And then every year we hear about how politicians get busted when they get greedy. Somebody turns a table on, or somebody turns them in, and they send them the files on how they've been abusing and misusing the citizens' funds. Um, oh, where was I going with this? I'm sorry, I got off track. Yeah. Current system is not set up to prevent. Yeah, because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Everything that I'm stating, you got to mind you that we quote unquote have politicians and a legal system that this is their full time job, right? Full time job to, okay, how can we improve quality of life? Oh, there should be a part of their full time job, right? Because you're getting paid very good, right? Hey man, we have this law to protect you from this and do this and do this and do that. No, you don't. All it is talking, because we see in real time, real life, when it come down to it, when the shit hit the fans, at best you're gonna have some tactical team running down on foot. All you need is a vehicle, and hell, he did what he did. You didn't stop shit. I'm not shitting on the officers, by the way. This is just my observation on how the current system fails its people. So I'm going to start from the beginning, and then I'm going to work my way up on why and how the system is created to react instead of be proactive. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The current system is outdated. You have to remember when the inception of these laws, this is way back when it first was created, the inception. Think about the climate. Think about the technology. Think about how news traveled, right? Think about that and just stop right there. So during the inception of most of these laws that we currently live by, even though they made amendments, I know that, because that's going to be the counter of, hey man, what are you talking about? They make amendments. Well, we see what your amendments have done. 10 dead and over 35 injured. So even if you made amendments, that shit ain't working, right? And we see it every year. As the time go on in 2025, you're going to hear about a mass school shooting. All of this can be prevented, by the way. Follow me. So during the inception of these laws, think about the climate. Think about how transportation, our primary mode of transportation, right? Think about how we communicated. Think about how messages were delivered. So during the inception of these laws, I want to say the primary for like mass communication was radio. That was it, radio. People interacted with their community, meaning so much so the person you dated was in your neighborhood. You didn't go across to another state, right? You didn't go way across town because, mind you, you didn't have a vehicle. Only the wealthy at that point maybe had a vehicle or whatever, but we're talking about horseback, on foot. We going way back then. The people who you dated and procreated with was in your immediate vicinity. At best, I think they may have had radio. At best, I think. And so when politicians or the government, when they had speeches, they would broadcast these things over the radio. Mind you, government, the word govern means control. So this is what they did to implement information and to control the narrative, control what was said, control the people, because they did not want a lawless country, right? Total chaos. This is what they do, right? And so they had these, we still had, I want to say, these states. So you still had New York and Texas, California. Like I said, at best was radio. But shit, if I really want to get, I want to say shit, maybe just had horseback. So you had the guy carrying a physical message, and he would take his ass on horseback and go to another state and say, "Hey, this was signed by such and such, and we're to implement this." This is the form of mass communication, right? And so what I'm trying to tell you, part of what I'm guiding you in this is the reason why I'm explaining it like this. When the system was created, the inception, it was not designed to handle what we have currently. See these mass groups and sudden encounters, there's nothing really in place to thwart that. Not saying that's a bad thing, but when it occurs, you don't have nothing in place. You do not have enough law enforcement to surveillance that area. You're outnumbered. It's just at that point it's a simple numbers game. When you have a mass group of people who meet up in one spot suddenly, right? There is nothing in place to prevent all of that. The current laws, right, was, remember, I just told you, it was designed during a time when people from New York didn't come in masses and go all the way to Louisiana. Hey, we're going to come here and celebrate, then we're going to go back to New York. None of that was in play. None of that. So I know some people, they like to live in a nostalgia. Hey, man, you're talking about our founding fathers and all this bullshit. Hey, man, you got to get with the times. You got to get with the times and realize that the current system, the shit is outdated. Everything that I just explained about how communication was, that was the primary mode of communication, primary mode of transportation. This is when all these laws were in place. And so you go to the Wild Wild West and they want to start establishing law enforcement and things like that. They were still, I want to say, horseback and radio. And then you had your outlaws and things like that. But still, once again, there's only so many. Now, what could be done? There's only so many, like law enforcement, police officers, all those things. Because nobody can be everywhere at once. Nobody. But we do have the technology nowadays. So let's fast forward, because we're still living off of what I just explained. You fast forward and you try to implement that into to today's society. The shit's not going to work. At best, you can do is just react. Right? Mind you, you're still not going to have, you can't have people at a designated spot everywhere on every street corner. Right? And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, during the inception, it was designed to kind of harness and control small crowds, small communities, not this many people. Why have they not addressed that the population has increased severely from when the inception of these laws, right? So if the population increased severely or drastically from when these laws were created, what has been done to keep up with the times? And you remember what I said, this country is based off capitalism. So if it doesn't make dollars, it don't make sense. These things that I'm talking about, they know it. But guess what? They're looking at the cost of what it would take to have this extra personnel, right, to survey the land. And for them, it does not make sense. And so for the citizens, such as us, we're left holding the shit bag, meaning the bozos get to react. Bozos get to act. And at best, the tax dollars, whatever funding we use for protection, all they're going to do is react. That's the best they can do is react because nothing really has been updated. Mind you, they don't care. Stuff that they care about, they'll send $10 billion over there in Ukraine and all over the world, right? This is a fix because some people may say, oh man, you're complaining. Okay. So, in cases such as this, why not have a temporary goon squad or something? You know, it's going to be a mass summoning of people. This is New Year's Eve at New Orleans, right? You know, it's going to be a mass gathering. They just said the man drove around the barricade, so he had to drive up. Now, if any of you have been to New Orleans, it's very difficult, especially in the French quarters when there's a lot of people. It's damn near you can't drive through there. So how in the hell was someone able to drive up to a barricade and then drive around the barricade? Now, what kind of barricade is it if you can just simply just drive around it? Why was there not anybody standing at the post to thwart or prevent some type of bozo activity? Well, the current law in place, the I don't want to say the restrictions, but if you're in law enforcement, well, you can only enact on whatever laws in place. So if you've been instructed and directed to watch out for people who have open containers, that's what you're going to be paying attention to because that's what you can enforce. That's it. Something like this, he can just drive up, run over 10 people, kill 10 people, and injure 35. But you better not have an open container. Right? You better not. Oh, they're gonna get you on that. They looking. Oh, they looking. This is what I say. At a certain point, you have to go back to some type of mode of practical thinking. I don't know, whichever political party that you're subscribing to. It doesn't matter because we see this shit go on throughout the years. So Democrats, Republicans, all of you all, they're not doing anything to prevent these things. Nothing at all. You have to go back to a mode of practical thinking. Okay, you must accept reality. We do have a problem. We do have an issue. How are we going to address this? Right, and you start right there. And you use tax dollars to prevent. Forget all this reacting. It's about time you start preventing these things from occurring. The man physically drove up, around, and through. He drove up to the barricade, then had to drive around the barricade, and then still was driving through. He did his damage, and then you have people, the law enforcement on foot chasing him down. Oh, they got him after he broke the law. Well, damn it doesn't take a genius to see that, hey, man, first, what the hell you doing with this truck so close to all these people? Right? There's no vehicles going through there. Y'all been to New Orleans. It's not a steady flow of traffic in that shit. There's people who just, you walking around, you gathering. Message, like, what are they thinking? You see the man drive up, and he's still trying to get through. He probably got out his vehicle and moved the barricade and then drove through. And nobody still stopped him. Nobody was there to stop him. No preventative measurements whatsoever. They do have the money for it. But because this country subscribes to a capitalistic bottom line, there's no money to be made in that, so they just don't do it. There's no money to be made in that, so they don't do it. And the people are left with holding the shit bag. So now we have 10 people dead and over 35 injured. The current system will fail you every time because it is not designed to prevent. Everything needs to, they have to do a reassessment. This is how you fix it. You have to do a reassessment. The nostalgia is the nostalgia. Put all that shit in a museum. I ain't saying throw it away. Go ahead. You want to keep it, you can keep it. You can have all that Constitution, all that bullshit. Have it in a museum. This is a new day and new time. There is nothing during that time, during the inception of these laws, that they could have figured that technology would have boomed that fast to where now you have somebody in California and can talk to somebody in New York directly. You have social media where a regular Joe Schmo can get online, as long as he have the equipment, he can broadcast a message to everybody. Mind you, these are the things that only the higher ups were able to do when these laws were created. Now your common man or woman can do this. Uh, Driving or modes of travel. Now people can take planes everywhere, right? The common man or woman can travel, hey, New York to California, wherever they want to go, or they can go and leave the country. So the issue with that is when you do have all of these modes of transportation, you have this advanced technology where people can now talk amongst each other. You now have increased chances of mass gathering, right? Or mass influence, right? All of these things, right? And control the minds of the people. And then you get them to react a certain way, get them to show up at a certain time. None of that was being taken in consideration when they made all these laws. Everything that I'm stating right now is currently active. Currently active. And so when you have this advanced technology, now you have a new way of life. It's no longer the way of life how it was back when it was during the inception of a lot of these laws. You have a new way of life. People can now move around from A to Z, A to B, A, B, C, D, real fast. Boom, boom, boom. Everything has quickened. Everything has the pace has picked up to the point where it's leaving the laws behind. The current system does not know what to do in these cases. They can react, they'll figure it out, after the fact. There's nothing done to prevent. And there's enough evidence now, especially throughout the years, that, hey, this shit is not going to stop unless something is done about it. You must put in laws to prevent. Laws should be to prevent. Yes, all right, you can still have something to react, but to prevent, right? You have an unemployment issue. All right, man, just have a goon squad. Hey, man, we need about 300, 400, 500 bodies for this detail. It's going to last about a month because we know the holidays are coming around. We're just going to need you to stand on these blocks. All you need is some radios or whatever. I'm not saying you got to arm them. We're going to have them with radios. We're going to have you holding cameras or whatever that is to prevent. Right? That's it. It's simple. You can just use the tax dollars to do that instead of shipping that shit way over there in all these other countries. Make surveillance more community-based. Oh, I don't have the law enforcement. We know you don't have the law enforcement to put bodies on every corner. This is why I say that the current system is not designed to protect nothing. It's too many people. I don't want to say too many people. It's just the amount of people is it can overwhelm anything right now. All you got to do is get a big ass group. They can't do shit. You can get whatever you get done cracking, and then the extra reinforcement. Oh man, they're gonna call National Guard and all that shit. But this is after everything is taking place. There is nothing done to prevent. Nothing done to prevent. Yet they keep talking about all these other issues. Like, hey man, what about the regular safety of the citizens? People just want to go out and have a good time. They can't even do that. But I know what they're doing. They're using instances like this to say, hey, believe in me, I have the solution, right? So they're going to use these scare tactics. I wouldn't be surprised if that man was, and this is the conspiracy theory, but hey, because the more chaos they have, or more chaos ensue, the more scared the people become, and so they go and turn more into, hey, they're going to lean more into the government because the government is there to control. Govern equals control. This is their way to get you to buy into the system. What I'm telling you is the current system is doing nothing to prevent, which they can. They're choosing not to because they just want you to buy into it. That's it. So they can have control and do all the little bullshit that they've been doing throughout the years. It should not take hundreds of years to fix something. We don't have hundreds of years to live. You know, hey, I'm just keeping it in a stack. The average life expectancy about 80 something, 80, 90, 100, right? Let's say you make it to 100. Why the hell I'm a buying into something that's going to take 400, 500, 600 years to fix? Nothing in place to fix anything. Have you wondered about that? Right? And they keep telling us, hey man, this is the best system you got. It's not designed to fix anything. Let's just say somebody does have the solution to fix something. Well, in the next 4 years, then he's gonna be out of office. And then your local people, I know that one don't run that way. They say, hey man, you need to vote locally so they can have more effect and more impact. I get it. Okay, but when the hell they gonna start fixing something? If I bring my vehicle to the mechanic and he's not fixing my vehicle, hey man, I'm gonna ship his ass out of there. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I need my vehicle fixed. It shouldn't take 20, 30, 40 years and all this shit. We're supposed to have the brightest minds up here. Or not so much the brightest mind. They're elected officials, but they're not fixing shit. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh man, he's just complaining. So then let's just say if you take my main points and you bring this to a politician, right? And you sit up there in front of Congress and I explain everything from A to Z. They're going to explain to you or explain to me about how, well, you can't do this because this law said you can't do this. Well, if you do this, then you got to do this and do this and do this, do this, do this. Right? They're gonna explain on why the current system will not allow these things to occur, the solutions to take place. Well, if that's the case, if an obvious solution is presented and your current system does not allow that to take place, then that means your current system is messed up. It is no longer effective. Let me break it down to you in a simpler term. If I have an alarm system or some type of burglary deterrent, right? So I have an alarm system. Maybe I have locked doors, right? And I lock windows. Yet every year somebody continues to break into my house. But I'm paying for this alarm, burglary deterrent. At a certain point, I must assess, hey man, what am I doing wrong? This shit ain't working. I know it's supposedly designed to prevent these or react accordingly, but this shit is not working. They're still breaking into my house. So I'm going to get a new theft prevention, right? I'm going to implement something new that's going to prevent my house from being broken into. So at a certain point, when are you going to get off your high horse and get with the times? A lot of people are so stuck in nostalgia, right? And they're so stuck in this nostalgia, and they have these ulterior motives, right? And they're living in this deceptive mindset. The real issue is that the people who are stuck in this nostalgia, right? They don't want to let that go. They know that shit is not right. They don't care though. They don't care about the masses. They don't care about none of that shit. They just want it to stay, remain it is, so a certain select group can maybe I'm getting off subject matter, but they don't want to let loose of that because they're tying this up with legacy and hey, this is my people's legacy and all the other things. Hey man, that's just the past. It is a new day and new time. At a certain point, you must update. I'll leave right there because I've already went too far. I know I did a lot of babbling. Hopefully, I made sense on some of these things. You can argue some of my points, which I'm sure some people will offline, which they do, right? But what you cannot argue, and this is what I hold What I stand on is real time, real life. You can argue all of my points, and you can come with a rebuttal to everything that I stated. But what you cannot argue is what happens in real time, real life, because that is the ultimate result, right? That is the judgment right there. There we go. Boom. Real time, real life. And in real time, real life, this happens. 10 dead, 35 injured. What can be done to prevent that? It's very easy. They just don't want to do it because the officials do not want to spend the money for it. They'll take your money, but they don't want to spend the money to prevent those things. It's as simple as that. And so they look at it, go, oh, well, we have a population of 300,000. Oh, we only had 10 dead. Oh, that's good. And they just move on. That's it. They don't care. They do not care. It's as simple as that. And we keep subscribing to them. We giving them the power. We giving them the power. We keep voting for them and doing all this other stuff. Hey, man, it's the best we got. That's what they keep telling you because they don't want you to think outside the box. No, it's not the best you got. It's the best you got if you have that mindset, right? That current that value system that they're subscribing to. That capitalistic shit, as you can see, it only works for a select group. That's not for everybody. Why you think they got your ass in a on a rat race, on a hamster wheel? Every day, 9 to 5, you get your ass on that hamster wheel. You moving, but you ain't going nowhere. 9 to 5, every day, you clocking in. Then they come up with all these laws because let's say you start catching up. Oh, yeah, I'm on one right now. Let's say you start catching up. You start figuring out the hamster wheel. Then guess what? They're going to come up with these new terms and new laws and all this shit. Inflation. Oh, man, we got to do layoffs now, right? Oh, man, inflation, we got to charge more. Oh, COVID. They're going to get you now. You start saying they're going to flag the video now. They said COVID. Oh, we got this sickness going on. Oh, we got to jack the prices up. Oh, man, it's infecting the meat. Everything go up. Oh, we're going to do the tariffs. Oh, I mean, everything going to go up. They're doing that because if you start figuring out ways to get off that hamster wheel, all they're going to do is figure out more ways to extract your money. Which is why when you get older, the goal is to take your nest egg. Why do you think healthcare is so damn expensive? So even if you sit there, you think, hey, I'm playing it safe, I'm just going to save. Okay, when you get older, right? Because we're going to come across ailments and things like that. There's traps all throughout to take your damn nest egg. All your 401k, your retirement, all of that shit. All they're going to do is keep jacking the price up to where when you need somewhere to stay, going to a nursing home or whatever, if you make X amount of money, they're going to want you to sign over the house. No, you don't qualify for this because you make too much. That's what they're going to tell you. So they want you to be low. They'll give you more when you're low. You can qualify for food stamps. You can get all that shit when you're low. Let you start building up. Everything's going to be in place to keep your ass down up in that hamster wheel. They just want you on that hamster wheel and then let them govern, control. They don't want you speaking out. Get your dumb ass back on that hamster wheel. Clock in 9 to 5. That's it. Oh, I'm off. Then you wake up again. You're off again. You wake up. Oh, we're going to give you a little 2 weekends. Yeah, we're gonna have you there 8 hours. We're going to have you do 12 hours. You can't do nothing practical. Hey, man, I'm tired. I want to take a nap. No, you can't do that on the clock. Oh, no, but you're getting paid for. Get your ass back on that hamster wheel. And guess what? Those are the people with all the influence. Political action committees, PACs, super PACs. They are the ones who influence all the laws. So they're the ones who dictate the laws. They can stop all this shit. But when it becomes to prevention, now you're going to have to spend more money on the people. They don't want to do that because now you're taking out from their pockets. So instead of them making $3 billion, oh, it's going to go down to $1 billion, or they're going to go down to $750 million. So instead of having their profits, right? We're not talking about revenue and all earned money. We're not talking because the simple business mathematics. You have expenses, revenue, money's the making, but the expenses are going to subtract from the revenue. And then what you have left over is the profits. So we're talking about profits. You go from 3 billion to 750 million. Instead of doing that, they'll lay your ass off. They're going to cut them jobs, right? Because they got to have these private jets and do all this other bullshit. Yeah, they got to have all that. Oh, yeah, we're doing that under the guise of capitalism. And then they sell you. Every year they're going to have this come up story to make you believe, hey, they can be you. All you got to do is work hard. Pull your boots up by the straps. Do what's right. Okay, you keep working hard and you keep doing what's right. All they're going to do is screw you over. They're going to increase the taxes. They're going to increase everything with inflation, right? They're going to take your nest egg. You're going to get older. You're going to buy into the system. And then if you need some nursing care, they're going to charge you like $5,000 a month. Have you seen how much it charges to go into a nursing home? If you're trying to pay out of pocket, right, and keep all your assets and don't sign over your house, mind you, when I speak about stuff that I've experienced. I don't just get up in here and talk. Have you seen that? Huh? Do you know how much it costs to get into business? The common man or woman cannot afford that. So who the hell is it working for? Well, if you already got it, it works for you. But if you don't have it, So it's designed, that's my whole point. It's designed to keep who's ever up here, and designed to keep whoever's down here, down here. There's only a select group up here. And so part of the design is to keep the people who's down here fighting and squabbing. Hence, they do, they change up mass media and they keep all these things, keep us fighting amongst one another so they can keep doing the bullshit up top. Because if we all start working together and we all start speaking as one, right? Because that's how they view us anyway. Forget all your races. You got different races, ethnicities, genders, cultures, and all that. That's what they want you to fight over. So they can keep doing the BS up top. We are the masses. We can control. I don't want to speak. I didn't already spoke too much, but as you can see, when the masses get together, there's nothing they can do to stop us. Oh, they can just do the military. Who do you think the military is? They still human. I was in the military. Guess what? If it came down to it on some shit that I didn't want to do, I just wouldn't do it. Or you get court-martialed. So what? It still takes a human to implement everything that the uppers are talking about. So if the humans, the normal people say, man, F that, we ain't doing that no more. There's nothing they can do. But yeah, let me stop because now, oh man, he's inciting this and doing all this bullshit. I think that's enough. Oh yeah, I'm on one today. But that's it. Hopefully you all have been enlightened. This was not for entertainment. This is just, enough's enough. We see it all the time. And unless a politician is talking about, or any type of judicial system or executive branch or whatever, all that stuff that they got in play, if they're not talking about preventing, then they're just going along with the same old circus. Same thing over and over and over again. We've seen this shit play out all the time. It just so happened they got it cracking. They didn't waste no time to get it cracking this time. Hey man, this is January 1st. Didn't waste no time for the BS and nonsense to begin. All these political agendas and things like that. I think that's it. Till next time. Oh yeah, my condolences to the family, by the way. My condolences to the families of the people who were affected by this. This is not making light of that. I'm on your side. I'm just tired of the nonsense, and I'm addressing the things that can be done to prevent. They can prevent these things from occurring. Do not let them tell you that they cannot prevent these things from occurring. They can prevent these things from occurring. Just open up new jobs. Spend a little bit more money. You're spending on everything else. You can prevent school shooting and all that stuff. Have the folks out there watching them. All right, increase the security. It's going to cost more money. So what? You're taking my money anyway, and you're spending it on nonsense that don't work for me anyway. Right? And if you really start doing your history on how to even get to the point of how they're taking your money, because at first the community used to do the roads and all this stuff. We used to fix them things. I won't say we, it's just the regular citizens. That wasn't done by the government. But as the population grew, they had to do something. That's how it all started with these damn roads. Because it was always trade and commerce. So the roads were very essential to jobs and produce and and shipping the produce from here to here and all these other things. Because not every state, some states the land is not fertile for the soil is not fertile for certain produce to grow. So you got to ship it over. Hey man, I want some of them California oranges over here in New York, right? So that's where the roads and all this stuff come from. Then after a while, hey, the population grew. They're like, hey man, how are we gonna fix these roads? Tax. Oh, and that opened the floodgates. That opened the floodgates. Hey man, hey, it's a lot up here. I can give classes on this shit now. But that's it though. I'm out. I'm done. Y'all be safe. Y'all, I know I said it out 2-3 times. Y'all be safe, man. Watch out for those bozos. It may be time for you to, hey man, the system in play is not there to protect you. So I'm not gonna lie to you. If I see some stupid stuff going on, it's time to react. I mean, it's time to act. All this, hey man, it's not my business. It may be time to make it our business. And I'll do another video on the elephant in the room. I wanted this one to be educational. I didn't want to throw too many gut punches, right? But we all know the elephant in the room. And I'm not scared to talk about it because I talk about everything. It is what it is. Whether you like me, you don't or don't. I stand on truth, reality. And I know the truth hurts. Again, my condolences. I'm out.